In a prestigious academy built for the children of the rich and powerful, the walls glittered with trophies, medals, and portraits of perfect smiles. But beneath the shine, there was rot, pride, cruelty, and an unspoken rule: if you were poor, you didn't belong. Mira was one of the few scholarship students. Her shoes were old but clean, her uniform neatly ironed, her hair tied in a simple braid. She kept her head low, avoided trouble, and focused on her studies. Every morning, she walked past the laughter of rich students who saw her not as a classmate, but as entertainment, and among them, the queen of cruelty, Alina Winters, daughter of the school's biggest donor. Beautiful, cold, and untouchable, where Alina walked, others made way. Where she smiled, others obeyed. Mira? She was invisible until that one morning. It was raining heavily. The hallway floors were slippery, the bell had just rung, and students rushed in from the storm. Mira clutched her old bag close to protect her books, the same one she'd borrowed from the library after hours. That's when she bumped ever so slightly into Alina. The sound of the bag hitting the floor echoed through the hallway. A few students turned. Laughter began before Mira could even whisper, "I'm sorry." Alina's eyes flashed like lightning. She looked down at the water that had splashed on her designer shoes, and then at Mira. "What did you just do?" she hissed. Mira bent down immediately, trembling. I didn't see you." But before she could finish, Alina's friend Lana smirked. "Oh, she did see you. She just doesn't know her place." The crowd grew. Phones were out. The whispers began, that cruel symphony of teenage mockery, and then it happened. Alina lifted her polished shoe and kicked Mira's bag away hard. The sound of the impact echoed. Mira stumbled backward, hitting the lockers, her books spilling everywhere. Laughter erupted, the cameras recorded, and Mira, her eyes wide with shock, whispered the words that would soon echo through the academy: "You shouldn't have done that." No one heard her over the laughter. No one saw the tears she wiped quickly. No one noticed the message she sent later that evening, just 5 words, to her older sister: "They kicked me today, sis." That night, across town, in a small apartment with flickering lights, her sister, Aria, read the message in silence. Aria was nothing like Mira. Where Mira was soft, Aria was steel. She had dropped out of school to work and pay for Mira's scholarship, her sacrifices buried behind every smile Mira forced in that academy. Aria didn't reply immediately. She sat there, staring at her phone, and then, slowly, her jaw tightened. She whispered to herself, "They kicked the wrong girl." Cut to next day, the academy. Mira tried to move on. She avoided eye contact, tried to focus in class, but the whispers followed her like shadows. "Did you see the video? Alina totally humiliated her." Poor girl, literally. The video had gone viral within the academy's private chat groups. A meme. A joke. Even teachers, though they knew, stayed silent. No one dared go against the Winters family. During lunch, Mira sat alone, her tray untouched. She stared at the wall, fighting tears, her fingers trembling. Then suddenly, a familiar scent. Vanilla and sandalwood. She turned and froze. Aria stood there, wearing a plain black hoodie. Calm. Silent. But her eyes, sharp as a blade. "Sis," Mira whispered, startled. "Why are you here?" Aria sat down. "To make sure it never happens again." Mira panicked. "No, please, you can't." Veil, but Aria placed a finger on her lips. "Shoo. They already did." That afternoon, the academy buzzed with tension. A rumor spread: someone hacked into the student group chat. Private messages, voice notes, and screenshots were mysteriously being exposed. Every cruel word Alina and her friends had written about other students began circulating publicly. Their arrogance, their secrets, their double faces, all laid bare. By evening, chaos reigned. Parents were called. Reputations shattered. Friendships burned, and through it all, Aria remained unseen. No one knew it was her, the quiet girl's older sister, sitting in the shadows, orchestrating poetic justice, but her plan wasn't complete. Not yet, because she wasn't after humiliation, she was after truth. The next morning, Mira entered class and froze. On the projector, someone had played the video of her being kicked, but this time, it didn't end there. After the kick, the footage cut to the group chat leaks: Alina mocking other poor students, insulting teachers, plotting pranks. The message appeared on screen: "This is what they call leadership?" Students gasped. Teachers rushed in. Alina's face turned pale. "Who did this?" she screamed, looking around wildly, but no one answered. Everyone's eyes were on her. The queen had fallen. Mira ran out, terrified, not proud, not angry, just scared. She found Aria waiting by the old fountain behind the school. "You did this," Mira whispered. Aria nodded once. Justice needed a voice. I gave it one. But they'll find out. Mira cried. You don't understand how powerful they are. Aria smiled faintly. I do. That's why they won't. For the first time, Mira saw something in her sister's eyes, not anger. Not hatred, something colder. Deeper. A plan. As the sun dipped behind the academy walls, Alina was called to the principal's office. Her parents were furious. The school board was watching. Her perfect record was gone, her name stained. But what no one realized was that this was only the beginning. Aria wasn't done. She had uncovered something darker, something the academy itself was hiding, something tied to the Winters family. And as she stood outside the gates that evening, the wind blowing through her hair, she whispered, "You kicked the wrong girl. Now, let's see who falls next." Narrator's voice softens, dramatic pause, and that was just the beginning, because what Aria discovered next would not only shake the students, but expose the academy's deepest, dirtiest secret. The next morning, the academy felt different. The hallways that once echoed with laughter were silent now, eyes that once mocked now avoided contact. The golden posters of Alina's student leadership campaign had been torn down overnight, replaced by whispers of fear. No one knew who was behind the leaks, but everyone knew why it happened. Someone had finally dared to fight back. And while everyone pointed fingers in the wrong directions, Aria watched from afar, silent, patient, and strategic. Mira thought it was over. She begged her sister not to return to the academy, but Aria didn't listen. Each day, she sat quietly near the gates, reading on her laptop, blending in with the visitors, but behind her calm eyes a storm brewed, because the leaks had opened a door to something much darker than teenage bullying. Cut to Aria's apartment. Night. The room glowed faintly from the laptop screen. Lines of code flashed rapidly. Hidden folders. Encrypted data. Private drives of the academy's internal system. Aria's fingers moved swiftly. She wasn't just some sister seeking revenge. She had once studied cybersecurity before dropping out to help Mira, and she knew how to find secrets. That night, she found something that froze her heart. A list, hidden in a folder named Donations, Confidential. Under Alina's father's company name, she saw strange payments, student aid transfers, development funds, and adjusted scholarship removals. Her stomach turned. These weren't donations. They were bribes. The Winters family had been paying the academy to push out certain scholarship students, making space for their own chosen ones, and Mira was next on that list. The next day, Mira walked into the principal's office, called in for a routine review. But Aria was already there, disguised as a volunteer tech assistant, her fake ID in hand. She watched quietly as the principal smiled at Mira, that cold, rehearsed smile. "Mira," he began, "we've been reviewing your scholarship eligibility. Unfortunately, due to new policies. Aria interrupted softly from behind. Or new paychecks? The principal froze. Mira turned, shocked. "Excuse me," the principal said, forcing a laugh. Aria stepped forward and placed a printed document on his desk. "The donation record. I found this on your school server," she said. "I'm sure the board would be very interested to know how scholarships are adjusted right after large donations from certain families." The room went silent. The principal's face turned pale. Mira looked at her sister, fear and awe mixing in her eyes. "Who are you?" the principal whispered. Aria smiled faintly. "Someone who doesn't forget what you did to my sister." Cut to, that afternoon, the campus security office, panic emails were flying, teachers whispering. The board had been notified anonymously, and someone no one knew who had sent every leaked document, every video, and every financial file directly to the Education Ministry's audit division. Within hours, an official team was on their way. Meanwhile, Alina sat in her car, tears streaking her face. Everything she'd built, her perfect reputation, her upcoming modeling deal, her school election. Gone. Her phone buzzed. A new message. No name. Just a video file. She opened it and gasped. It was her father, in a secret meeting, handing over an envelope to the principal, his voice clear. "Just make sure the Winters name stays untarnished. The scholarship girl's record should be reviewed quietly." The phone slipped from her hand, her world shattered. Narrator's voice deepens, suspense builds, while the entire academy drowned in panic. Aria moved like a ghost, every step, every action, planned with precision. She didn't need fame or applause, she wanted balance. Justice wasn't loud, justice was quiet, and tonight, justice had a face. Mira, however, couldn't handle it anymore. She found Aria outside the fountain again, tears streaming down her face. "Sis, please stop this. It's too much. They're scared, you've destroyed them." Aria looked up at the sky, the fading light reflecting in her eyes. "They destroyed you first. But revenge won't change that." Mira cried. "I just wanted peace." Aria turned slowly to her sister. Peace doesn't exist where power hides truth. Her words cut deep. Later that night, the education board officially suspended the principal. The Winters family name began appearing on news blogs, local channels, whispers spreading beyond the academy walls. The perfect family, under investigation. The perfect school, exposed for corruption. Mira became the face of strength among students. Those who once mocked her now stood beside her, but she didn't smile. She missed her sister, who had disappeared after sending her one last message. It's done. Stay strong. Don't look for me. Narrator pauses, low tone. Weeks passed, the academy changed. A new principal arrived, the scholarship system was rebuilt, fair and transparent, but Mira still waited by the old fountain, every evening, hoping her sister would return. One day, as autumn leaves fell, a small envelope appeared inside her locker. No name. No sender. Inside, a single flash drive and a note for the next fight. Because there's always another. Mira plugged it into her laptop later that night. It contained proof, not of Alina, not of the Winters family, but of other schools. Other students. Other victims. A network of injustice, hidden under the glitter of privilege. And now, it was her turn. Mira closed the laptop slowly. Tears filled her eyes. But this time, not from pain, from determination. She whispered softly, "You're right, sis. It's not over yet." Final narration, emotional, cinematic, with swelling music, and as the screen fades to black, one message glows in white letters. They thought they silenced one girl, but they awakened an entire generation. The story of Mira and Aria spread far beyond their academy, a story of courage, justice, and the power of standing up when silence becomes unbearable, because sometimes, revenge isn't destruction, it's transformation, and the quietest voice can shake an entire world.